Hey everybody, this is Solinus Dracone, and today I'm just going to kind of do a brief little interstitial thing. It's something that, it's not going to come out too often, but I figured I'd share a little bit of Minecraft with you guys, because this is a game I've been playing for quite a long time. And unfortunately, in my recent upgrade and format of the hard drive, I did lose a world that I had been working on for years, and just all of the things that were in it. So it was a great tragedy, but I figure I'll just soldier on and start over again. So what I did was I went ahead and just designed a new creative mode world with super flat, about 50 dirt level and 3 bedrock level, just to have, some depth to it. And I'm just going to kind of show you one of the projects that I'm working on right now. Now this is my Waterslide, and as you can see, it is very uncompleted. I have not quite gotten much going on it yet, but basically the idea is we are going to, what we do with it is we lay out some water, okay, just to make one long unending stream downward. I'm just going to kind of take us down in there so that we can see it. Let me go ahead and set the time so that we have daylight hours. Great. And yeah, the water just flows on down, and there's mechanics behind this. I have done the math and I have done the mechanics, and so I have worked out the best way to create this sort of a thing. So the idea is it's going to go back all the way to the top of the map, which is going to take for fucking ever to do, trust me. And the other end is going to go to the very bottom of the map, which won't take nearly as long. Let me get rid of some of this unwanted stuff. Benefit of creative mode, of course, being that I can just use whatever I want, and the super flat world makes for a good even level of being able to work on stuff. So as you can see, I sort of have worked my way down, and sort of lining the walls with smooth sandstone blocks. So I'm just going to fly back up to the start, and I'll show you sort of a demonstration on how it gets done. And let me change the time back to like 13,000, which is pretty much, nightfall here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give us a little brief ride down the water slide so that you can sort of see what it's all about. Now, I do plan, when I, finally finish things up, I'm going to lay a layer of glass. Just a single layer of glass along all of these little steps, and then drop the water simply to get the water a little bit deeper and to get us closer up to the level of the rim here. But just this is a basic idea of how I do it. So you drop down a boat, and we're going to just nudge this in. It'll be a standing pool of water at the top when it's done. So yeah, we just basically ride the whole thing down. We got these little sea lanterns here that are very lovely, giving us just the right amount of lighting. And we ride it on down, just all the way to the bottom. And again, I am going to reach the bottom of the map with this. I go down to bedrock with these. Oop, a little bit of a skip there. Minecraft does run a whole lot better on my new computer setup here, so it is good. And now we just sort of hit the hard wall and things break up into a million pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and block off the water flow here. Just, wanted to show you kind of sort of how that whole thing is going to work. It's just going to be a much longer trip downward when it finally gets down to it. So we're just going to stop off the water here. There we go. Alright, drop out this stuff here. And I'm going to kind of explain some of the mechanics behind this, because, it is important to get your math down right. I am not one for math, but you have to be able to at least do a modicum of it. Now, water mechanics in this game, water physics, indicate that if a drop of water is placed, it will run 7... It'll run 7 squares in any direction. So I'm going to go ahead and set the time to 0 so you can see that. Just going to drop a bit of water down there. And what we do is we hover over the water, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how far the water goes. So if the water is, it goes up to the 7th block, it will flow down under it. Like, that's the 8th block, but that's the 7th block, and it flows down in, as you can see. So let's just stop this up. There we go. So if you're going to make a water slide of this value, then just remember that each section, each step has to be 7 blocks long, no more, no less. Well, I mean, it could be less, but why not stretch it out further? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If it reaches the 8th block, it'll just flow down over, as you can see. If I had gone any longer with this, we would not have that lovely flow. So once you've started this project, you kind of got to dig a hole in the ground, and I put a fence around here just because of, keeping out the animals because they'll jump in. Had a big problem with squids, but that seems to have gone away. I am using sea lanterns for the light here because I think they are the most attractive looking block to give you the most amount of light for your money. And, I'll show you how I basically go about doing this. So when I'm building up a bottom section, what I do is, basically, I've got this little divot at the end here. It'll make sense in a moment. What I do, well, let me collect these up. They're going to drive me nuts. So I go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And please note that you can only reach 5 blocks ahead of you. The 5th block is the last thing you can affect. Block number 6 you cannot touch. So I go 5 ahead. 2 more, and then I just dig that last one a little hole. Now, I like to have the lantern positioned 2 blocks above this edge of the step here, and 1 forward. So this is the bottom block, this is the 2nd block, and this is the 3rd. Alright, so that's 2 above. Now, from this angle, I can very easily just knock out 5 blocks above me. Okay, and that's about 7 blocks up. So I'm going to continue this motion, continue this particular thing. And I'm just going to go all the way across, knocking out all these blocks. And hardly takes any time at all, really. I mean, I get a section done in about, 5-10 minutes, I should say. Okay, and the final layer. Bam. Now, of course, 2nd up, and another light source. Let me get rid of this. Okay. Straight up. So that hollows out another step downward, but clearly, it's not going to be left this way because we don't want dirt lining. We want a lovely sand floor and sandstone smooth sides. So we start that off by, I like to just knock out this little layer here and lay down a single line of sand and just kind of go around and clean it all up. Just get rid of it however you can, and then go around a couple times until the sand has replaced the dirt. Just keep that going. Now, in just a minute, after I'm done with this little section down here, I will show you how I do one of the upper portions, because that is going to be much more labor-intensive, but I like to knock these out, and you can just go straight 6 up and give a little hop to put 1 up there, because you cannot place anything on that 6th block. You can only destroy it. Then what I do is I knock out just the bottom 2 blocks on that row there, go up under, and just clear that all the way. Good. Jump, jump, and jump, 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 and jump. Okay, so just fill this part in here. And look, we got one lovely sandstone wall. Let's do the same thing over here. Jump and lay down your blocks. Take out the first 2 blocks here. And same as before, clean away, clean away, clean away. Future videos are not going to be this click heavy because I'm getting a new mouse soon that's a little bit quieter. and that's going to be better for my recording because I absolutely hate having to edit audio, and any little bit that I can do to edit less audio would be great. If I could figure out a mute button for my microphone to help me out with the coughs, that would be great too. So as you can see, we got 2 whole walls done, and it just looks seamless there. And we'll just do the building section here, and just keep going till you run out of blocks. Okay, oops, knock that one out. Be careful with your aiming. And if you accidentally hit something here or there, it doesn't matter because as time goes on, you are going to be clearing that all out anyways. Alright, so we got that section straightened out, and we're just going to do. I find it easier just to do this. I mean, you could go like that, and that, but there's just a whole lot more button pressing involved, so I'm just as content to dive in each direction there. Okay, do. Okay. So the ceiling is pretty well put in there, and now this is 8 wide. You should know the actual walkable area here is 8 wide, 10 wide if you count these things here, but this is not actually where we're walking. So I go to positions number 3 and 4, and I work 1, 2, 3, 4 in. I knock these 2 blocks out, and got a little light overhead. So that's how I take care of doing a base section. Now I'm going to show you how I do upper sections, and this part is quite a bit more labor intensive. So I'll give you the basics of it. Oi! Enough of that weather. Don't have time for that. So, in keeping with the rule of 7, 7 being the most important number when you're building a water slide here, is that you've got these, you basically go from your last sea lantern block, okay, whatever sea lantern block is the highest, and you'll go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On top of the 7th block, you put another sea lantern. Same deal here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Put a sea lantern block here, okay? That builds up enough of the next section that we could just easily go down here and simply fill that whole thing in. Simple enough, but it's going to get more and more labor intensive as we build further back. There is going to be a lot more effort involved with doing that. Just try to make it as even as possible there. And alright, let me just try to make this easier on myself. Have a point to work from. If you set yourself up a limitation area, then it actually helps you keep yourself in order. So basically I can just do this. Alright, drop on down, and then up. I'm just basically flying. Okay, another drop, jump, and you can just totally jump upwards and do all that. I mean, the idea is you're just filling in the blocks, basically. Oi, get off my screen. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oi, stop it. Okay, and finally fill this last part in here. Fly back up and fill that in. And you just do the same thing on the other side. Now, just as before, the rule of 7 is helping us out here, because how do we know when to go upward? Well, for one thing, it's impossible to fuck this up, really. Because the idea is that as long as you don't, even if you go slightly low on where you're supposed to go, even if you miss the whole thing, as long as your top layer of sand, as long as the base of your step is 2 below the lantern, then you're good. So, observe. I just lay down some sand, and it will conveniently fall all the way down. So, that is 2 below the lantern, and I'll just continue that whole thing here. Bam, 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 bam. Like I said, busy work, but it can be kind of cathartic. Let's set the time to 0. Oh wait, time set 0. There we go. Just so we can have some light to work with. So we lay the sand down. This part takes a minute. Drop, 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 drop. Sorry if this is boring, but it's pleasant for me. So now we can see that we've got this block here, and if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it goes all the way here. Now, simplest way to do this is just to drop, 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 drop. You can step up your production level here and do 2 blocks at a time. Just bring it up about level with this right here, because the idea is you want this to be lower than this, obviously. So, actually, no, you want this to be level with this, so take those out. There you go. Just drop. Okay, drop. Alright, and in just a minute what I will do is I will return to the finished product. You're just basically dropping the sand down all the way across here. Okay, so we'll just cut to that now. Okay, and we're back, and I'm just finishing up the last bit. I sort of try to go in sets of 2 because it's much easier to lay the sand, and as soon as you've laid down the final column there, then you have a level step. And this, just like as usual, we took no effort. All we needed to do was follow the rule of 7. As we can see, it flows downwards. So yeah, it's just all about making sure you understand how the physics works. 7 is as far as water will reach before it will actually go downward. So just remember, dig forward 7, make the the 7th block a downward dip when you're at the bottom, as you saw, and just go back upwards. And if you're following your template, it's not going to be hard at all. I could go on forever, basically, just doing the blocks this way and the blocks this way, just until I get to basically the top of the map, which would not be a bad idea, because then I'd know how far I have to go. But the problem then is that I'm going to have a ton of laying this sand down, and the longer you have to lay sand down, then it's just going to be taller and taller and taller and taller until you are dropping literally from the top of the map all the way to where I set my super flat to level off. So it's a bit of a hassle, but if you're using a regular terrain sort of a thing with hills and whatnot, then it's actually a fairly good way to do it, because sand doesn't care. Sand will just, lump on top of other stuff and it'll get buried. So yeah, and you can use whatever you like. Heck, you could use gravel for this if you want to do smooth stone all the way up. Be my guest. I like the solid feeling of just being all the way up high, although I may find ways to mitigate this whole amount of work that I have to do. Maybe lay like a sandstone layer across the bottom. I might cheat somehow. The idea is, at the end of things, we are going to have a water slide that goes all the way up from the top of the map to the bottom. And of course, I will be making a mine shaft with a cart that takes me back up to the level, because I had a lot more stuff than this. I had a water slide that it didn't quite reach the top of the map. I stopped at a certain point, but it was impressive enough. And kind of along in that direction here, I was working on a pyramid. I had just had a whole bunch of stuff. So I thought I'd share with you just some of the early stages of development of this little world that I'm working on. And I hope that anybody finds it good to work with, good to watch. So thank you for watching. I'm Solinus Dracone, and this has been Moincruft.